absolute best one yet.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure you got something to say.
No, seriously, dude. That second that you realized the both of you were Minnesota Vikings fans. Seriously. Oh, my God. And then you realized how bad the defense and everything else is. The two of you should go for fucking ice cream and cry about it.
You know what?
Whatever. Cousin sucks.
He's right. The following is a presentation of the 6HL and the 6HL media team. Hello everyone and welcome to this edition of the Season 13 6HL Owner Interviews. As always, I'm your host TJchalkboard, coming to you from the basement of the Legion of Doom headquarters. With each edition, I sit down with 3 owners, ask 8 questions, do some trivia, and have a little bonus round. These give the community a chance to get to know these guys better, but also allow them to show that they're more than just their digital personas. I had a ton of fun getting to know all these guys, and hope you enjoy these interviews as much as I did doing them. So, without further ado, let's get rolling. And here we go. A fellow member of the 6HL media team and league member since Season 8, this guy is new blood to the 6HL team ownership. Taking the helm of a Western Conference team, he will be looking to far surpass his personal season record of 22 points in 12 games during Season 11 with Philadelphia. Excited to get to the draft, he has built himself a solid management group, and they will be a team to watch in Season 13. With a career total of 35 goals, 33 assists for 68 points in 54 games, this guy is a team-first player, and will look to build trust and chemistry to ensure a playoff berth. A fellow Vikings fan, oh my God, and all-around great guy. My only hope is that he will remember and still have time for us here in the media department. So everyone, welcome with me, the owner of the Los Angeles Kings, StonedGuy. StonedGuy, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. How about yourself, man?
Not too bad, not too bad. Excited to have you here with me. Right off the bat, the first thing I'm going to ask you is... the draft is fast approaching. How are you feeling about that?
I'm excited for it, man. I'm going to be my 4th draft, technically 5 because I was GM season 9. So I'm kind of used to the process of it, kind of have my routine of what positions I like to draft, wear it down. So I'm just looking forward to it, you know, new talent. It's new season. So yeah, draft time's always my favorite time.
Definitely a lot of new talent, definitely not a lot of new guys coming into the league. As for your management team, I know we can't discuss the particulars yet because nothing has been announced, but for yourself, you know who your management team is going to be?
Oh, yeah, they've both been approved. They're in the manager's chat, so awesome. I'm hyped to have them, and they're a couple of great guys, so, you know, I think we're going to put together a good team here.
Awesome. Well, you know, I know, like you, I'm looking forward to this season. How about we get to the questions?
Let's do it.
All right. So the first question that I have for you is, who is your favorite NHL team?
My favorite team is the Philadelphia Flyers.
Oh, big one. Wow, really? So are you from Philly?
I'm South Jersey, literally 20 minutes outside of Philly.
There you go. Nice.
Yeah.
That's actually kind of cool. Yeah, you know, the era that I grew up watching hockey, right, was a phenomenal era for Philly. You know, Eric Lindros, John LeClair, right? Like, you know, that was a lot of fun to watch with the Legion of Doom. Who's your favorite NHL player all time?
Rob Brind'Amour.
Oh, dude. Yep. That's easily understandable. Any particular reason why for you?
It was my mom's favorite player, and like just when I was watching hockey and everything, she always pointed him out, and I just grew to love him myself.
Yeah, that definitely it sets on you when you know when that's ingrained into you. In the current NHL, who's your favorite player?
Claude Giroux.
Claude Giroux. Of course. Of course.
Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah.
dude. I can't say that I blame you there.
Primetime Philly in the last decade. He's the leader. You know, he was the guy.
Oh, for
Him and
sure.
Scotty Hartnell. So, but Scotty's retired. So.
For sure. And you know, Philly is such a great fan base. I've been there a couple times. You know, just love the atmosphere is probably one of the best atmospheres in the NHL.
Yep.
So for me myself, I am a foodie. I know what my preference is, you know, when it comes to game day, when it comes to celebrations. What's your favorite food?
Honestly, man, anything Italian. 100% Italian, so fucking pasta sundae is my go-to.
Nice. Never a wrong answer. Pasta, like some pasta, some gnocchi, a little chicken parm.
Anything, man.
Yeah.
Always delicious.
Exactly. So aside from EASHL, playing and managing, do you have any hobbies on the side?
I love football. Everything about it. The sport, it's just arguably my favorite sport. It's amazing. I'm honestly right now I'm getting ready for the Super Bowl Sunday next week.
Ooh,
I can't wait for it.
And I'm assuming Eagles?
See, I'm actually a Vikings fan.
Me too.
But my office is all Phillies fans. So if they win, I'll likely get the day off to go to the parade.
There you go.
And the Chiefs, I picked in my work pool to win the Super Bowl. So if they win, I win $100. So it's a win-win.
I was going to say, definitely a win-win either way. That's awesome, though, that you're a Vikings fan. I'm a Vikings fan, too, myself. Yeah. Definitely a lot of disappointment. What was that? I think it was week 13. Or no, sorry, week 13, that loss against Dallas. I knew it was done. I knew, like, they weren't making it through the first round. So,
well, the offense is arguably the best in the league, but the defense is, again, arguably the worst in the league. So when you don't have the defense to match it.
Well, as much as I would love to get into it, we could also have a conversation about a quarterback, too. But we'll definitely leave that one for another day between the two of us. Right. So you've been in the 6HL now since what, season 8, I believe it is? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So you've got a few seasons under your belt. So obviously there are some of those moments. But what has been your favorite moment so far in the 6HL?
Honestly, it has been my entire season 11 Philadelphia Flyers team was just amazing. I went to the second round of the playoffs and lost to the season 11 Cup winner, the Buffalo Sabres. But it was literally just purely how me and the management team drafted. We didn't make any trades. It was all between the draft and the RA draft. We had a phenomenal team, a great group of guys, and it was just a great time all around the board.
That's absolutely awesome when it works out like that. You know, speaking of playoffs, you know, I guess the big question here is looking towards the draft, looking, you know, towards what you're going to be doing in the season. What does or will success look like for you and the LA Kings this year?
I think that it all comes out of the draft, how we put together the initial team, right? Because that affects how you're going to be able to make your trades, how you're going to handle the RA draft and the RA positions, you know?
Yep.
If you don't feel confident coming out of the draft and really do your proper research and know who's out there, then you might be having a rough stretch early on in the season. You know, I find that the draft is just always the key way to ensure your success for a postseason push.
So scouting too, right? Scouting. Because obviously there's going to be a lot of guys that are going to be pushing. You know, again with a lot of new talent, a lot of new guys coming into the league. I think this one's going to definitely be fun. Be fun.
And not to mention just the group of owners we have this season. There is a lot of competent owners and great talent in the management team, so it takes away from the draft board too. So you really have to kind of look at everything that's out there because the usual talent that we've seen the last few seasons might not be around.
Yeah, I think, you know, not to mention another league in this, but, you know, I really think the way that this season is shaping up, you know, owners are going to have to look at building their team like LG 3 lines deep. And that's really the only way you're going to be able to show up every single night.
Yeah.
So looking at the success that you've had, over your
Mhm.
seasons, right, making it to the playoffs and everything, what do you attribute that success, those skills in the ASHL to? And for younger guys or guys that are just getting into league play, do you have any advice for them?
So I contribute my success to honestly just listening to the team and the players, right? So sure, it's my team, 100%. I built the team, I own the team. If something goes wrong with the team, it's on me to put it back together. You know what I mean? But when your players trust you and can go to you with, hey, like, maybe go look at this guy, and you know what I mean? Like, hey, I play really good with this guy on our team. Let's try to put us on a line together. It's just listening to input that they have can help build the successful teams, because you're putting people with people that they're comfortable playing with, that know how they play.
Chemistry.
Exactly. And as for the younger players, it's capitalize on your success, on your opportunities, because once we get deeper into the season, teams have their lines formed, they know what they want to do, and those opportunities become harder to come across. So if you're not that known in the league and you're looking to really make a name for yourself, when you're given that opportunity for a pub game, or someone backs out at 9:55 and you need an emergency sub, be that guy, because it could end up being the difference between a TC spot and a roster spot.
Oh, for sure. 100%. I couldn't agree more. And like I said, chemistry, right? You want to make sure the right guys are playing together. That definitely helps with the overall outcome. So those are the 8 questions. So we're going to move on. Are you ready for a little trivia?
Yep.
All right. So the very first one, can you name for me the original 6 NHL teams?
Ooh. The original 6.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh?
No.
Nah, I have no clue.
No, it was the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Boston Bruins, Chicago Blackhawks, New York Rangers, Detroit Red Wings, and the Montreal Canadiens.
See, I wanted to go with Boston. I wanted to go with Boston there, but I really was like, I thought that my head was playing tricks on me with the wrong black and gold. I was like,
it's the original black and gold, baby.
Yeah.
I'm huge Bruins fan myself. Okay, second question. There are only 4 teams in the NHL that do not have an S on the end of their name. So obviously the Flyers and the Kings are out of it. They have the S on the end of their name. Can you name at least 3 of the 4 teams that do not have an S on the end of their name?
The Minnesota Wild.
Yep, there's one.
The Colorado Avalanche.
That's 2.
Fuck that. So Seattle Kraken.
There you go. You got all 3. You got 3 of the 4. The other one that's there is the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. So the last one. This one is multiple choice. So you definitely have options here. Who was the first player in NHL history to score a full strength, power play, shorthanded, and an empty net goal in the same game? Was it A, Gordie Howe? Was it B, Phil Esposito? C, Mario Lemieux? Or D, Maurice the Rocket Richard?
I'm going to go B.
A, Gordie Howe? No, it was actually C, Mario Lemieux.
Okay.
Now, knowing who you're a fan of, I'm pretty sure I already know what the answer to this question is going to be, and as far as I'm concerned, it's right. But the last thing that I have to ask you here before we wrap up, for a little bit of fun, who is the best NHL mascot?
Ooh. It's Gritty. I'm sorry,
right?
but it's
right? Yeah,
Gritty.
exactly. It has to be Gritty. I don't care who you're a fan of, man. Like Gritty is the man. You answered the same as everybody else that I've talked to so far. So, I think we're all in agreement
It's got. It's got to be Gritty. He's an animal. He was the best thing to the Flyers since, you know what I mean, like in the last 5 years. He's amazing.
And
He's
so
amazing.
so much fun. Like his social media presence is phenomenal. Like just everything about Gritty is great.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Stoned, I want to thank you very much for sitting down, taking the time to do this with
Easy.
me today. I appreciate it very, very much, and I wish you and the LA Kings the best of luck this season.
Thank you, TJ. I appreciate it.
Cheers, buddy. Have a good day. Now, say what you will in response, but I think I may have fallen in love with this guy. A member of the 6HL since Season 5, he's been a manager and will step into ownership for the first time. This back-to-back Cup winner is coming off of another stellar season as the GM of Florida to take ownership of his home and favorite team. In Season 12, this Tendy had 19 wins and 14 losses, 2 overtime losses, and a 3.34 goals against average through 35 games. If you've ever played with this guy, you know how calm and cool he is, especially for such a young player. This guy has had a successful 6HL career and will be looking to build a solid D core in front of him to try and reproduce his Season 10 numbers, where in 16 games he had 13 wins, 2 regulation losses, 1 overtime loss, and put up an unreal 1.81 goals against average. I truly enjoyed my conversation with this guy and did change the first question to apply to recent news. His Austin Matthews style mustache was distracting, but please enjoy my conversation with... Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome with me today the owner of the Season 13 Edmonton Oilers, Zurke. Zurke, how you doing, my man?
Good. How you doing today, TJ?
Fantastic. Been a busy day around here, but I've really been excited for this interview, excited to get to know you a little bit better.
Yeah, no, I've been looking forward to this interview. I know we've been talking about it for a couple days here, and I've just been slacking off, been busy, but now we're here, we're at it, and I'm looking very forward to it.
That's it. Life happens. First off, I have to say, again, I'm glad to have you here. Scouting has just opened up. The draft lottery coming up, as well as the draft just around the corner. How are you feeling about this season?
Oh, man, I'm so excited. Got to go back with Rye Dog. Me and him have been together for, 4 seasons now, and brought Sweaty with me. We won season 11, so... we're all looking very, very forward to it. Scouting, we're just going to start scouting tonight. We got a couple games running at 9 Eastern, so I got that in a little bit. But besides that, we're all looking very forward to it, and we definitely want to, win the cup. So
awesome. Well, I hope I get a chance to get into some scouting games with you before scouting's done.
Yeah, no, definitely, TJ. Just come around, and we'll get you in.
Awesome. So unless you have any questions for me, I'm going to jump right into it.
No, I think we're good, TJ. Let's get at it.
Okay. So going back to the owner reveal, one of the things that we mentioned there was that the Edmonton Oilers are your favorite team. So you are owning your favorite team, the Edmonton Oilers. That obviously has to feel good.
Oh yeah, no, I was so excited when I found out. I've wanted to be on the Oilers for a while. I know my good buddy Webby had him. He's a big Oilers fan too. Lives about an hour away from me, and every game we're texting and. So I'm happy to take it over from him, and hopefully, I can bring a cup home to the Oilers, because they probably won't do it for a little while in the real life. So hopefully I can do it in a fucking virtual game.
Perfect. Yeah. So normally the first question that I would have is, who is your favorite NHL team? But obviously, since we already know that, recently the city of Edmonton announced that Northland Coliseum, the former home of the Edmonton Oilers and during the Wayne Gretzky era, Mark Messier, so many cups out of that building, is actually going to be demolished in order for a new condo development to be put up. How are you feeling about that?
Well, I'm young, so I never really got to watch Gretzky or all them, but that's where I started my Oilers love passion, watching them live. And for it to be tore down for no reason, I think they should keep it, because there's a lot of history, a lot of legacy, and that's where the Oilers. And that's like I said, that's where I started to love the Oilers and watch the Oilers was out of that place. And now that's getting tore down. That definitely does suck, but guess, nothing we can do about it, but it definitely does suck 'cause it is a big part of the Edmonton Oilers.
Oh, huge, massive community in Edmonton that just that basically grew up in that place. Moving on, who's your favorite all-time NHL player?
Oh, definitely, like everybody would say Wayne Gretzky and, Mark Messier and all them, but I started off, I never got to watch them, so my favorite, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins,
The Nuge.
He's always been there since I've watched, and, I remember my first game I went, and I thought they were booing him, and I was like, why are they booing him? And no, they're doing nudes, so then ever since, he's been my number one fan for the Oilers. He's never went nowhere, and so he's definitely, my number one fan.
Awesome.
I mean, number one.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming then that the same answer for your favorite current NHLer, or is there somebody else that you're watching now that you're like, wow, this guy's good?
Well, we all got to say McDavid, watching him, he amazes me every game. He does something that's no other player does. So I'm going to have to say, McDavid is probably my favorite to watch right now but Nugent Hopkins will be my all-time favorite, no matter what happens to him. But right now, McDavid, everything he does and what he does, it's just no other player does it.
No, I fully get that. I know for me, like when your hockey love starts, it's that one player. It's always going to be that one player that continues to leave that impression on you. For me, being a Boston Bruins fan growing up at late 80s, early 90s, it was Ray Bourque of the Boston Bruins. So for me myself, I'm a foodie. I love my food, whether game night, whether celebration. I know what it is for me that actually gets me going. What's your favorite food?
Well, we all love our proteins. I'm gonna have to put my steak. I could eat a good steak every night. That's what I would go with.
Damn right. Yeah. Grain fed, grass fed.
I'm gonna go grass fed.
Yeah, buddy. That's the only way. That's the right answer.
Oh yeah.
So aside from EASHL, obviously owning and playing, do you have any other hobbies?
Well, everybody knows, when I go in the summertime, if I'm never around, I'm always fishing. So that's that's the thing to do is go fishing.
You do any ice fishing?
No, I'm not a big fan of ice fishing. I usually go to lakes. Well, not lakes. I usually go to rivers and stuff. So, and can't really do that in the winter. So
no, definitely not. So you've been, again, as we spoke about earlier, you've been in the 6HL now since season number 5. That's an awful long time. A lot of seasons that you've put in. Do you have a favorite or most memorable moment during your time in the 6HL?
Probably my season 11 with Vegas. That team, the locker room, it was just like negative, positive. Such a good group of guys, that was one of the best teams I've ever played on in any league play, and if I could go back to any team or anything, I'd go right back to that team.
Oh, of course, right. There's always that one moment in history that you're going to hold on to. Again, we hit on the draft coming up really, really fast, and scouting now opened. But for you and your management team, what does or will success look like for the Edmonton Oilers this season?
Well, I think last year we struggled with defense up in Florida, so we definitely need to figure it out defensively and make sure we have the right pieces in place and the right picks going forward. We can't draft too many forwards. We need to make sure that we draft D-men earlier, maybe get a top D-men first instead of a forward. Just need to look into it. But with the management core, that there's not a lot of good D or forwards. It's all kind of just a depth drafting order this year. So you really got to make your picks right. So we got to do a lot of research, and I've been going over stats a lot and trying to find a lot of LG people and people that are hiding, and so there'll be no hiders or no people coming in that think they're gonna. We got to make sure that we have everything in place. So a lot of studying is gonna go into place in this draft for us.
For sure. Sounds about
Yeah.
right. On that note, really quickly before we move on to the next one, do you have a preferred draft position that you'd like to find yourself in, or?
We definitely want to go in the middle. I'm hoping for, top, probably the 10 to 12 mark. Hopefully somewhere in there.
Yeah, that's probably one of the best places to be. That way you get two picks that are relatively close to one another.
For sure.
Now, you've obviously had a lot of success in the 6HL as well, playing EASHL, just looking at the numbers on the EASHLstats.com. But what do you attribute that success to, and building those skills? And for any young players or guys that are just getting into league play, what advice would you give them?
Well, no matter what team you're on or who you're with, just always play. You'll always, you'll be on a good team and you'll always win every game or every game. It depends. Just depends how it rolls out. But as long as you're trying to improve yourself and not being toxic, because I find people that are toxic, just aren't liked around the community at all, and it just doesn't go well. So as long as you're a happy individual and you're always trying to better yourself and your team, then it will go a long way.
100%, I couldn't agree more. If you're getting into this team game, you got to leave the ego at the door.
Yep.
So, so those are all the questions that I have for you there. Are you ready to do some trivia with Chalk?
Let's do it.
All right. Can you name for me the original 6 NHL teams?
Oh, that's going to be... I don't think I could do that for you, but I'll try. I think Toronto's in there.
Yes, sir.
Montreal.
Yep.
I think I might get wrong here, but Detroit.
Yep.
Who else is in there? Winnipeg?
No. No, man. It's the New York Rangers, the Chicago Blackhawks, and the Boston Bruins.
Look at that. Yeah. I haven't looked at that stuff in a while or done anything like that in a while.
No, it's all right. And you're a younger guy, so it might be a little bit harder to know some of that stuff. This next one here is a little bit of a thinky question, but we're going to do the best that we can. There's only 4 teams in the entire NHL that do not have an S on the end of their name. So like the Oilers, the Maple Leafs, the Montreal Canadiens, they're out of the question. Can you name for me at least 3 teams that do not have an S on the end of their name?
Okay, I got you. Once you get put on the spot, you got to think. We're gonna go. Holy crap! Like every one of them have one.
What I'll do is I'll give you the same hint that I've given to some other guys. Think of recent Stanley Cup champions.
Okay. We got one, Colorado.
Yeah, Colorado Avalanche. Yeah.
Oh, why can't I think of the recent Cup winners? That one. Oh, they have one. I think I can't think, TJ. I think I'm out of this one.
Oh, no way. Only one. Well, actually, so the four teams are the Colorado Avalanche, the Tampa Bay Lightning, Seattle Kraken, and Minnesota Wild.
Oh, my. How did I not think about that?
Yeah, man. Like I said, 2 former Stanley Cup champions don't have the S on the end of their name.
I should have thought about that.
All right, this last one here is multiple choice. Who was the first player in NHL history to score a full-strength, power play, shorthanded, and empty net goal all in the same game? Was it A, Gordie Howe, B, Phil Esposito, C, Mario Lemieux, or D, Maurice the Rocket Richard?
Holy man, I don't think I'm just gonna
take a wild guess.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Gordie Howe.
No, it was C, Mario Lemieux.
Oh my.
Yes. I know it is a little bit of a tough one. You're definitely going back. Yeah, he was the guy to do it.
No, damn, that's actually pretty crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah, man.
All in one game.
One game, yes.
Yeah.
All right, so finally, this one is just for fun, just for the fans, and just for the fandom. Can you tell me, in your opinion, who is the best mascot in the entire NHL?
Definitely the Hunter.
Hunter! Oh my God, you're
Yeah.
going with the Hunter. All right, wow.
Oh,
No, dude, that's a great pick. I personally, Gritty.
oh yeah, I've heard a lot of people like him, but I know like a few seasons back in 5, 6, and 7, actually, the Hunter used to play in 6HL.
Yeah.
I don't know if a lot of people know that or not, but he did, you know, and that's pretty cool to know. I'm not sure if if people knew that around the league or not, but he's not here anymore. But talked to him quite a bit, and he was a good guy.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Absolutely awesome. Well, Zurke, I want to thank you very much for all of your time today. This has been absolutely great. I told you I was looking forward to this since we chatted the first time. You're an absolutely great guy, and I hope we get to do this again sometime.
Yeah, no, TJ, I was looking very forward to it. I'm happy we got it done. I'm looking forward to the season, and yeah, we'll get many more streams in and broadcasts, and I'll be talking to you much more this season.
Perfect. Well, the best of luck to you and the Edmonton Oilers on your journey in Season 13 in what is going to be probably one of the toughest Western Conferences we have seen.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. After I seen the management group, I was like, oof, it's going to be sweaty. We'll see what happens. So,
Right on, buddy.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Allow me to preface this one by saying this may have been the longest interview that I did. Joining the 6HL in Season 12, he will be more new blood to the 6HL ownership and another stellar attendee. Playing for Calgary in Season 12, he will remain in the West, looking to build in front of him during the draft, but has put together a solid management group that will be a great asset. During his Season 12 campaign, he started in 25 games, had 13 wins, 10 losses, 2 overtime losses with a 4.0 goals against average. His main focus will not only be to make the playoffs, but avoid another round 1 exit. Scouting will be key, and his management team will be watching as hard as he does to find the best players available. This guy was fun to talk to, and even had a little trivia question for me. Believe it or not, he stumped your boy Chuck. A fellow Bruins fan and another great all-around guy. So please welcome with me today, Pro Orb, the owner of the Minnesota Wild. How are you doing, Pro Orb?
Not bad. Yourself?
Wow, fantastic. Excited to have you here. Excited, especially being that you're, one of the newer players to the league. So having you own this season is great. A new owner, some fresh blood in the system. With that being said, we have the draft lottery coming up, as well as the draft and scouting. How are you feeling walking into that?
Well, I'm pretty good with analytics and stuff like that. So even just having one season in the league, picked up real quick on who's got specific talents and specific needs that I'm going to target. So
Gotcha.
Shouldn't be too difficult.
That's good. Do you use the EASHL site to kind of look at stats?
I use that. I use the Sports Gamer. But honestly, playing with people is obviously the best way to figure it out. And being a goalie, even from my camera position, I get to see the whole play take place, and I'm not super focused on the puck and the other players like a skater would be.
Yeah.
So I'm not just, playing, I'm also watching.
Yeah,
So it gives me a really good vantage point to understand what certain players do and figure it out.
Yeah, you get to see the little things and watch that chemistry, which is obviously a bonus being at the back end. Okay. So do you want to get right into the questions?
Go for it.
All right. Question number 1. Favorite NHL team? The Boston Bruins. My favorite team as well. We talked about this earlier. I was really excited on this one. So I know growing up in Massachusetts, what drew you to the Bruins over any other team? Was it just being in Boston, or was it the?
Pretty much. I mean, when I was a kid, I was a scrawny kid. I was not nearly as big as I am now. I was like 60 pounds soaking wet. So hockey and me really didn't jive when I was a little kid.
Gotcha.
But I loved it. And I loved watching Sergei Samsonov play for the Bruins.
Oh my God!
Really
yes.
old school name that
Yeah.
not a whole bunch of people remember, but that was my favorite player when I was a little kid. And then the other kids grew up faster, grew bigger, and hockey kind of faded out. And then just before the Stanley Cup run in 11, it kind of faded back into my life. So
nice. Yeah, you know, you're going back to the Samsonov. Like I go, you know, myself. I'm from Ontario, you know, just north of Toronto. I grew up in Toronto, but always loved the Bruins because, you know, watching that NHL hockey, right? I grew up in the era of, you know, Ray Bourque, Cam Neely, Adam Oates, Joey Juneau. You know, that was a hockey. Not to mention, as I told you before, my brother went to school with Jason Allison, played hockey with Jason Allison. So, you know, that there, yeah, there's that long history there, and I've always loved the team myself. When it comes to all time, who's your favorite player?
Bergeron.
Bergie.
It's hard not to like the guy. He just does everything right. Class act player. Like, the whole league loves him. I mean, you really can't point to something where you're like, yeah, screw that guy.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't exist on him. Like, it's insane.
Yeah, great community guy. Like, amazing to watch in interviews. Like, even up here in Toronto, we have the guys that, you know, do all the interviews and that, and just he's just an amazing guy, and an amazing talent. Your favorite current NHLer, is that still Bergeron, or is there? Yeah.
It's just, I mean, again, not growing up in that, you know, Ray Bourque, Bobby Orr style era.
Yeah.
It's hard to fall in love with players that you couldn't naturally go and watch.
Gotcha.
So it's a lot easier to fall in love with the players that you can go and see and, you know, physically be there. So.
No, 100%. I agree. So for me, myself, I'm a giant foodie. I know game night, you know, celebrations and whatever. I know what it is that, you know, I'm going to get myself into. What's your favorite food?
Anything involving pasta and a cheese.
Nice. Nice. I yes.
It doesn't really matter what combination of meat or whatever's on there. If it's got pasta and cheese, I'm usually going for it.
I couldn't agree more. Yes, pasta and cheese. That is, oof. Now you got me. Actually, we had some of that mac and cheese tonight. You know, might not be the top notch, but definitely good.
Was it Kraft or Velveeta?
No, actually. So I don't know if you guys have it down there, but up here in Canada, we recently got it's the Cheetos. So it's a Cheetos mac and cheese, like a zesty mac and cheese.
I've seen it. I've never had it, but I've seen like it in flyers and ads and stuff like that.
Dude, it is awesome. Absolutely awesome. It's got a little zest, a little bit of kick to it. Definitely worth trying.
I'll tell you. You have Panera up in Canada?
Yep.
Panera came out with, they mixed their macaroni and cheese with the broccoli cheddar cheese soup.
Ooh.
And for a limited time, they had that like in a bowl together.
Oh my God.
That was hands down one of the best things I've ever eaten in my
Oh my
life.
God. Dude, that sounds amazing. You know what? I just had dinner. You're making me hungry again. Dude, that sounds amazing. I'm definitely gonna have to look into that. So aside from EASHL, playing goalie, now being in management, do you have any other hobbies?
Adulthood.
That's not so much a hobby as a way of life, but yes, I get it.
It's hard to have hobbies as you grow up. I mean, you basically get 1, 2, if you're lucky, 3 that you can dedicate your time to. Yeah. And then the rest of it is like, I'd love to do this, but I just don't have time to do it. So for me, you know, hockey's always been a big thing. I did really like shooting games. Oh, nice. That was a big one for me. And I pretty much played all of them right up until I played Escape from Tarkov, which eventually ruined all other shooters for me.
Oh, yes.
Because it is by far the most unforgiving risk versus reward, like go from the lowest of lows to the highest of highs games I've ever played in my entire life.
Oh my god, yes. No, I agree. That one is a good one. That definitely made me put Call of Duty aside too. To say the least.
Every 6 months, so it's like all of a sudden you get to do it all over again, and
yep.
For some reason it just doesn't get old, but it certainly gets infuriating.
Yeah. So I know you haven't obviously only starting last season. You haven't had much time in the 6HL, but do you have a favorite moment so far?
This is going to be slightly controversial.
Oh, here we go. Let's hear it.
My favorite moment was when, I don't know how this happened, but some trolling started going back and forth between Calgary and Edmonton.
Okay.
And it ended up with everybody in general chat spamming game codes.
Oh my god.
Anytime someone tried to talk, game codes, and it would just clear the whole screen. And it was like, it went on for a good 30 minutes, and we're in the middle of a league match, and everybody in game chat or party chat is just dying laughing. We're not even really paying attention to the game at this point. We're doing nothing but looking at general chat and just watching. And when it got caught on, they switched to like help. So just no matter what it was, it just kept evolving into something that like nobody could get a word in, and then we all started getting muted.
Yeah, I recall that was definitely a little bit of fun.
We were dying in the party chat. It was it was hilarious.
I bet. Oh my god. Yeah, I remember that day. That was fun. I was actually surprised that they didn't put the slow mode on sooner than they did, because that was.
I caught myself a 2-hour ban.
Yeah.
I think Psycho caught himself a 24-hour ban.
Oh my god.
It was a good time. It's totally worth it.
Welcome to the league, right? Like this. Welcome to the 6. Right on. So, you know, we've hit on, you know, the draft. We've hit on, you know, obviously the scouting Discord and that. But as it comes to success for this season, what will or what does success look like for you and the Minnesota Wild this season?
I've thought really hard and long about this, and I've got the perfect answer.
Let's hear it.
So last year as an owner, I won 0 games. So if I can just win 1 game, we're better than last year.
There it is. You know what? You're right. That is the perfect answer, right? You know it, and that's.
I did not win a single game as an owner in my first season. Oof. So any wins is a plus.
You know what though? I think credit where credit is due. Though you stuck it out, you made it through. You guys did the thing.
Well, I wasn't an owner last season, so I couldn't have won any games.
Yeah. Right.
So that's kind of the whole. We made the playoffs. We got bounced by San Jose, and that was really back and forth. I think that went 7 games, and it just didn't bounce our way. That last game, I think in Game 6 and Game 7, their goalie like stood on his head. I mean, I've seen some stuff where it's like sometimes the goalie's just on it. This goalie was on it, in it, around it. Like, I mean, no disrespect, but there was definitely a lot of luck and EA happening. I mean, there was a situation where we should have had the game-tying goal, but I think our guy breathed in the general direction of the goalie, and it was goaltender interference.
Yeah. You know, I agree with you, but have to disagree with you at the same time, right? Like, you know, that mentality of, you know, getting EA'd, you know, I think sometimes we need to put that away because, you know, like, yeah, there is such thing as puck luck, but I think to own it and just use that to drive yourself to get that much better and move to that next level.
I've always said this, like, hockey playoffs, real hockey playoffs. At the end of the day, a team loses a 3-2 game in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And let's say maybe they get bounced. I've always said, well, if you score more goals, you're not in a position where one bad bounce or one bad call decides that game.
Exactly.
So it is what it is. I will say there's some times where it's like, what was I supposed to do there?
No,
But
of
other than that,
course.
you know,
Of course.
it is what it is.
Of course. Yep. So the little success that you've had so far, and I know you've played Old Gen, I know you've played in other leagues. So in terms of success and skill that you've built to get yourself into playing the 6HL, what do you attribute that to? And for any younger players or guys that are just getting into league play, do you have any advice for them?
Repetition. Honestly, playing with the same group of people over and over again, you start to get comfortable with where they are. Mint was on our old gen team, and when we started playing new gen, I moved into 6HL and realized he was in 6HL, and he's like, you know, it's wildly different. Even just him as a defenseman and me as a goalie, he's like, he could tell the difference between playing with another goalie when we had hundreds of games together.
Yep.
So when you play with somebody for long enough, you start to understand their movements, their motions, what they may or may not do. And without, you know, airing too many of my tricks, I have a move that I often do from time to time, and Mint being comfortable with it is already in position before I even say something for that move.
Gotcha.
So that experience just kind of, you don't even need to say anything. You just learn, hey, this is what this person likes to do. So playing with the same people over and over again really does, the chemistry cannot be underlooked in a game like this.
100% chemistry, I think, is sometimes underrated, right? You know, the ability to play with guys. You know, yeah, you have to be able to play with other guys from time to time, but when you find that line, when you find that fit, you roll with it. And now, being the owner, you get to create that chemistry. You get to create that line, and I'm sure you're looking forward to that. That's it for the questions. You ready to get to some trivia with Chalk?
Sure.
All right.
Let's try it.
Let's go. So we got 3 questions for you here. The first one, can you name for me the original 6 NHL teams?
Yes. So, Boston,
Yes.
Toronto,
Yes.
Montreal,
Yes.
Detroit, Chicago, and the Rangers.
Yes. Nice. 6 for 6. Way to go. And that was pretty quick, too. That was some serious confidence. All right. Question number 2. There are only 4 teams in the entire NHL that do not have their team name end with an S. So the Maple Leafs, the Bruins, the Rangers are all out of the question. Ooh. Can you name 3 of those 4 teams?
Oof. That's a tough one. Are we talking current teams?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, the Kraken.
Yes, that's one. I'm surprised you didn't get another one right off the bat.
It's you see, you think that it's like super easy, but when you think about it, they all like have an S at the end, except for, you know, a few true. The Hurricane.
No, Hurricanes.
Is it Hurricanes?
Yep.
You're right, it is Canes.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow. It was a lot tougher than I thought it would be.
You want a couple extra seconds?
Minnesota Wild.
Yes, that's the one I figured you were going to get right off the bat. You got one of those teams.
Right, exactly. Well, it's hard to think because it's like first you focus on your division, and then you end up accidentally going over the same 6-7 teams like 19 times. Exactly. Like, no, I already cleared them. That's not a thing.
I'll give you the same hint that I've given to a couple other guys. Think of recent Stanley Cup champions.
Well, I was going to say the Tampa Bay Lightning.
There you go. And the fourth one is the Colorado Avalanche.
The Avalanche, yep.
Yeah. There you go. So you got all 3. The last question is multiple choice, so I'm going to give you the 4 answers. You tell me which one you think is right. Who was the first player in NHL history to score a full-strength, power play, shorthanded, and empty net goal in the same game? Was it A, Gordie Howe, B, Phil Esposito, C, Mario Lemieux, or D, Maurice the Rocket Richard?
Ooh. I don't don't know why, but I want to say Esposito.
No, it was actually Mario Lemieux.
That was my second guess, was Lemieux.
Yeah, it was Mario Lemieux. Mario Lemieux doing it, scoring all 4 ways you can possibly score in one night. So that's it for the trivia round, but I do have one more question for you that I've been asking everybody. This is that little bit of fun. We want to see how many people pick the same thing. So, of all the mascots in the NHL, who is the best mascot of the NHL?
Is that a real question?
It's a real question, yeah.
Of course, Philadelphia.
Yeah, Gritty, right? There you go.
I'm sorry, but like, best all-time mascot, even of other sports. I mean, you might be able to say the Phillies again, sticking in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Mascot.
The Philadelphia Maniac, yeah.
Too, but,
Yeah.
If you were asking stadium announcers,
Yeah.
nobody seems to beat the Dallas Stars.
No.
Their Jumbotron has some of the just best moments I've ever seen, and just they make fun of their fans, and just that is definitely the funniest video announcer.
Oh, 100%. Dallas is famous for trolling their own fans, but yeah, Gritty is the best mascot in the NHL. So with that,
well,
Pro,
I have a question for you.
Sure.
If you're asking us trivia questions, I've got one for you.
Ooh, I like it. Hit me with it. What do we got?
My favorite trivia question, at least for now, of all time.
Okay.
Who is the only NHL player to score a goal in a game he never played in?
Oh my God, I know this too. We were talking about this. Oh my God. Was it Scott Stevens?
Nope.
No, who?
Think Bruins.
Oh my God, dude, I'm blanking here. Who was it?
So, Columbus Blue Jackets versus Dallas Stars. Nathan Horton scores in the first period.
That's
Rich
right.
Peverley collapses on the bench. They restart the game, but keep Nathan Horton's goal, but he was injured at the time. So he recorded a 0-0-0 time on ice stat line, but got credited for a goal in the game.
Oh my God. Oh my God, that's right. Holy shit. Dude, you got me. You stumped me.
A great question.
That is a great question. I think I'm gonna have to use that one in the future. Well, thank you very much, Pro. Really appreciate you making the time for me today and doing this with us. This was an awful lot of fun, man. You're a great guy. I think anybody who gets a chance to play for you is really gonna enjoy it. And as for this season 13, I wish you and the Minnesota Wild the best of success in what is going to be a very, very tough Western Conference.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to it. I'm just seeing some of the other owners and their GMs. I've got a few that I'm like, whew.
Yeah.
But
you know what? You'll find your way. You put that group together, man. I think you can find your way. Stud goaltending is the first place where everything starts, and you obviously got that with yourself behind the pipes. So thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Have a good one, buddy.
You too.
And that is it for this edition of the 6HL Season 13 Owner Interviews with your host, TJchalkboard. I hope you've enjoyed them just as much as I have enjoyed doing them, and I always do appreciate you watching. Don't forget to give us a like on all of our socials. You can find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. As well, you can watch all of our live streams every time we do them on Twitch. And hey, if these are being released today, that means it's draft day, baby.